from the government. And, we said that when you hold a hand, then it become a chain and all that. And that happened. As a matter of fact, he hold my hand, and then we took that process, and there were probably more than 25 agencies which pledged to undertake this activity. And then there was a consultative process undertaken that involved various provincial irrigation department and the allied agencies, and a pre-feasibility study and the terms of reference for that, and how well the selection criteria of a particular site is to be finalized, was all discussed, finalized, and then ultimately they embarked upon this journey by applying for a GCF grant, which ultimately they have got this year. I think that whatever that the country faced probably of 2010 and last year, this initiative of WWF and WWF Pakistan, inshallah, when it is going to be realized on ground, it is going to be a phenomenal sort of, you can say, impact with regard to following the nature-based and the green initiatives on ground. And it will be a pioneer activity that, inshallah, the other countries and the other institutions are going to follow. With that, Hamad Sahab, I'm grateful that you have given me this opportunity to talk. And I'm now here to sit and to listen to these speakers. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
At WWF, we have the statement, "Together Possible." For GCF, the accredited agency is and represented by the WWF US office. So this proposal was developed jointly. And then again, the support, given by the colleagues from the US office was phenomenal. They literally took this project as their project. And, both the teams literally didn't look or didn't realize whether it's day and night, late night calls, because I'm a witness, to that process. So now I will request Mr. Carter Roberts, who's the president and CEO of World Wildlife Fund in the United States. Now, my friend Carter has worked with communities and heads of states in North America, Africa, Latin America, and Asia, and has built partnerships with some of the world's largest corporations to set new industry standards for resource efficiency. Over to you, Carter.
Thank you, Hamad. And you said that this project means so much to you, and it's been 7 years in the making. I have only been with our office a part of this for a year. But when a friend of yours is in need, and the country that he represents is in need, and he asks for help, you say, "What do you need?" And you act at the speed that is required. And that just comes naturally when people have relationships between countries. And I think those relationships these days are in short supply, but they are exactly what we're here and what this is all about, is when something bad happens in a part of the world, you call those whom you know, and people respond quickly and at the speed that the situation requires. I know that GCF's commitment, that represent Hamad's 7 years in the making, didn't just happen overnight. It happened quickly as a result of all of that work. And I think this is a tale of superlatives. It's a tale of, it's the largest grant of this type that the GCF has ever made. I think it is the largest grant of this type that Coca-Cola has ever made. And I think, Dino, you can talk about the fastest grant that USAID has ever made. And all of these things happened, following the commitment of the government of Pakistan, which is fundamental. and following the commitment of GCF, which is fundamental. The rest of us just crowded in. And one last little tidbit is, in addition to all of that, when it came time to the additional final gap that was required, WWF US forgave, we forwent every single bit of overhead associated with these grants, which is not inconsequential for us. But I think we were all so motivated by the importance of this that we just wanted to move. Anyway, a lot of superlatives, a lot has been said. We have an amazing panel, but before I introduce the panel and just the extraordinary people who are here, I just want to say there are a couple of other notable things about this project. I think it has set the standard for what the world should look like in complementing the really important gray infrastructure of canals and of the built environment to enable communities to manage their water with the green infrastructure. And it is the largest adaptation project, I believe, that Pakistan has ever done. It is also the largest adaptation project that WWF has ever done in the world. And I believe that it really sets a standard for that. The other thing I love about this project is it has committed from the very beginning to measuring the impacts and how things have worked, not only to provide a feedback loop to the government of Pakistan as it continues to evolve this program over time, but to me, the beautiful thing is how it will inform the work of other countries. And it is not regular that when we do big projects on the ground in different parts of the world, that people commit themselves to baseline science and to measuring impacts over time, to publishing those things. It is so rare, you have no idea how rare it is. And then to share those findings with other countries to do likewise. I'm seeing that happen right now in another case with Brazil. It changes everything. It's one thing to talk about the beautiful things. It's another thing to provide the science that shows real lessons learned, real adaptations, and not just adaptations to climate change, adaptations to institutions. And I love all of that. Just say that coming out of Montreal, it was clear that we have about 1/3 of the amount of money that we need on nature-based solutions. And a lot of that is going to come through projects like this and the examples that they set. So let me just, it's late on a Sunday night. I congratulate all of you who are here. You are the hardcore, you are the believers, you are the ones who really care about this issue. But I wanted to just say it's easy to follow real leadership and that has been provided by the government of Pakistan. It is easy to follow the leadership of my friend Hamad. It is, and I just also wanted to acknowledge the leadership of USAID and the Coca-Cola Foundation, who rose to the moment and have joined in a really important way. And I wanted to just acknowledge that Dina Esposito from USAID is here, and she and I were just talking about how magnificent the rest of you all are who are here. I wanted to acknowledge Bapna Fakhruddin from GCF, who really provided the pivotal linchpin of financial support, and also Dr. Faisal Hashmi, who with the Coca-Cola Foundation, who was the director of public affairs for this part of the world. You all came together. It is a story I love telling about how crossing all these different institutions, we actually moved at the speed that the crisis required. And let that be a model to the rest of all of us to repeat this in other parts of the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carter. So, as Carter mentioned, we have a brilliant panel. So I request my fellow panelists to please join me on the stage. Ms. Dina Esposito, Mr. Bopon Fakhruddin. I think Dr. Faisal Hashmi will be joining virtually. But before, let me take like a couple of minutes. We were talking about 7 years, 7 years, 7 years. Maybe I'd take like 2 or 3 minutes to sum up those 7 years. So this entire thing was started after the 2010 floods. Chairman Flood Commission mentioned about a high-level delegation going to China and learning about the nature-based solutions being practiced there. Coming back, and then there was a Ramsar mission, and then there was a Dutch government mission. For the first time, they emphasized on nature-based solutions, and WWF took that as the leading organization to work, on that. The result is now that, he's sitting here. Now, Federal Flood Protection Plan 4, which is the latest guiding policy document, has components of nature-based solution. So when we approached GCF, we shared the concept, they liked it, and they gave us the grant, the project preparation phase, I think around $700,000 for pre-feasibility and feasibility. World's leading engineering consultants were hired, Initially, they were like 25 sites, cut down to, 14, then 7. The government was fully charged to support ReCharge Pakistan. And then, in writing, they committed to give $45 million as part of the Flood Protection Plan 4. And then come the 22 floods. Literally, that was so devastating that the government had to spend every penny, from the development projects as well. The result was that these guys wanted to put, and particularly after the 22 floods, on the fast track. They liked the idea, they had and they were giving us trust and confidence that, yeah, come on. But then, we were really struggling, for the co-financing. The colleagues from WWF US, I think the first interaction was at the UN Water Conference. Obviously, we knew that we need this grant. And then came the critical support, the most awaited support from the USAID and the Coca-Cola Foundation. I mean, the total value of this project is $78 million, $66 million from the Green Climate Fund, and $5 million from the USAID, I think as part of the GDA, and $5 million. The $5 million from the Coca-Cola Foundation is also the single largest grant they've ever given, to any entity. So that also shows the trust and confidence and the urgency of this particular project. This particular project, just to give you a few numbers, and then I'll straight away go to the question, the project is, under the main objective of the project is to restore forest catchments and wetlands, rehabilitation flow paths and channels, and developing recharge basins and retention areas. So it will directly benefit more than 680,000 people and indirectly 7 million people. By taking a nature-based approach to the problem, ReCharge Pakistan will create benefits to communities, including enhanced water security, sustainable livelihoods, and improve habitats and biodiversity. So that's in a nutshell, that's the crux of this particular project. If you're interested in more details, it's available on GCF website. It's available on WWF website. Now, let me, I think Carter has already introduced both the learned panelists. So I'll straight away, and Bopon, I'll start, I'll start with you. So ReCharge Pakistan, I think we've been repeatedly saying, is the second largest single country adaptation grant in the GCF history, not to mention the largest eco-based adaptation project. So could you comment on the significance of this project from the fund's perspective and your hopes for it to contribute to the sort of paradigm shift that the fund encourages for all its projects?
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be here. I think there are multifaceted activities has been done, as you already mentioned in some point, that co-financing is one of the critical factors for GCF. finance accessing, as well as the country leadership, NAP process, all sort of things are linkage. I still remember actually just before the UN Water Conference, we went to USAID for a day-long workshop to discuss our due diligence, because I used to work for USAID long back, and I understood that there is a lot of commonality between both of us. And I think it makes us both comfortable, actually, the way the due diligence GCF maintain and the way the USAID maintains, so we can have a more collaboration. In the past, we had a collaboration, but that's more like a small scale. But I think this is the most largest scale first project that has been came to the market. And obviously, what we can see from this project, or what actually this kind of project give us a direction, the scale. And that's the beauty of GCF project, that if you had an incubator where you actually tested some research, you can actually accelerate those things using the GCF financing. And you need to understand actually what activity you want to do actually really carry on to demonstrate. And we always like to do some critical project actually. Easy project could be done by other financiers like Jeff, Adaptation Fund, because those are small grant you can always demonstrate. But if you need to really demonstrate something which other finance cannot provide, GCF is your catalytic finance that can actually provide those kind of support. Why? Because we have several instruments. One is actually readiness grant, as you may know that one. As a country, you can actually access now up to $7 million, and which is actually quite a significant number as a development point of view. And you can actually demonstrate beautiful innovation using that money as a government itself. If you want to like to see some innovative project testing in one basin and how to upscale it into another 200 basin. So those are the beauty here, and as well as cross-sectoral capacity building to access but more financing or packaging some good proposal which can come to the pipeline. But also other than that, GCF may be the only financer in the market who provide all sort of financial equipment. You go to a national bank, they could provide you a loan with a certain period of time, but in the GCF you could actually access a 0% interest with 30 years return period. And that gives an enabling environment for private sector or other investor to come and invest their money. But other than that, there is also an instrument grant as well as guarantor, first loss, result-based financing, and as well as insurance instrument are there. And no other financer, no other MDB is actually able to provide those kind of financing. So this is where actually you can make a huge impact to create a long-term sustainability, because we often say that it's not that Pakistan doesn't get project in the Indus Basin happened in the past as well, but those never sustained because there was no transitionality from one project to driving to another project. So those are the quite critical elements that we need to look at actually as a government. Your leadership was quite critical at that moment, especially on the beginning of the year, because the last flood actually created quite catastrophe as well as the debt. And we saw that your leadership, your prime minister and everyone actually quite vocal. They set up those kind of high-level meeting, and we were also supportive how actually we could mobilize financing from our side. But we are glad that it happened, but it took time. So I think this is a quite good lessons that we can learn. That one is actually scalability, that how can actually you create a large-scale project and become a flagship project. We want WWF to be a flagship project so that actually other country can learn from you this kind of instrument, how they can actually replicate. But plus, this project also provides a demonstration that how the National Adaptation Plan has been, adopted. Whatever actually priority you put, that actually already applied into the field. But also, as you mentioned, that a strong M&E framework has been adopted under this project, which could be quite beneficial for other countries how to learn from WWF. And I think this kind of a collaboration between the Coca-Cola Foundation or other philanthropy as well as other funder is quite important and create a critical mass for this kind of activities. However, our board has given us a mandate to how we can actually support direct access entity for the country. And in Pakistan especially, we have an RSP as an accredited entity. But depending on the current situation, probably they are lacking of the same level of capability of considering other international accredited entity. So we would also like to see actually how WWF could able to actually a little bit promote and support the DAE to access the direct financing, so that actually the money goes directly to the country and country get beneficiary. So that would be also one of our requests to WWF to enhancing the national capability. Same with we are actually mentioning our other UN partners such as UNDP or UNEP who are actually working into the Pakistan context, how they can actually help the national capacity to enhance, or how they can actually package that readiness financing to better align with the sectoral perspectives. We like to see more comprehensive project in our pipeline. And as well as you'll see that we always get a complaint that GCF is complex, GCF is slow, it takes time. We agree that, yes, this is a complex process and our investment criteria is something different. And it's a climate financing, so you have to come up with a climate rationale for that particular project. And often actually project comes which is not a climate, but more on development side. And that's why it doesn't fly in quite faster process. So and there is also an example that we're able to clear the project within 3 months. So like the early warning for all, which we started the process in the month of April. We were able to make it happen in July in Unga. We announced $150 million. So if the good quality proposal comes in the pipeline, it could actually go quite faster because we often spend a large amount of transactional time to packaging a concept note. So it's back and forth, 5-time, 6-time iteration. And once a concept note goes 5-time iteration, it's actually you spend almost a year. And it's not healthy for our side, neither actually satisfactory from your side. So we need to look at actually how we can actually build your capacity, or we can also go for a co-design approach. If you think that you need some support, if you have an idea, we can sit together as a sector specialist and then think about how that could be packaged. And once you understand the process, you can hire your consultant or other organization or yourself to packaging that in a proper way. And that could actually go within 6 to 8 months, we can actually able to approve the project into the pipeline. So with these things, we again actually congratulate WWF, we congratulate government of Pakistan for your leadership, and we like to see, now the baby has been born, has been delivered, so it's your responsibility how you nurture it, make it a successful project so that it could be demonstrated. And adaptation project is always challenging. And as a large number of portion of this kind of adaptation project, please feel free to make it greater success. And thank you again to USAID also join the Hand in Hand and Coca-Cola Foundation. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Bapon. I would like to thank you for 2 things. A, you said it's a good quality proposal, so I feel very excited. But secondly, when you were very transparently, clearly, honestly narrating the expectations, and I'm happy because the 2 senior-most professionals from the Ministry of Water Resources, the chairman of the Federal Flood Commission, and from the Ministry of Climate Change, the Inspector General of Forest, who's, by the way, also on the board of WWF Pakistan, ex officio, they're present here. So it's not just, WWF, but they are hearing it from, I don't want to use the word horse mouth, but, the main entity who's like after, supporting this project. So thank you for that. So Dina, I know it's very late hour, and I have a very exciting question. So from USAID perspective, what's the most exciting thing about ReCharge Pakistan?
Just one thing? Okay. We've already heard so much, but first to thank you for inviting me to join the panel. I'm really honored to be representing USAID here. I do lead the Bureau for Resilience, Environment, and Food Security at USAID. There are 7 different technical centers, all of them providing support to our missions, including USAID Pakistan, the Center for Water, the Center for Resilience, the Center for Environment and Biodiversity. You get the idea. They're all super excited collectively, and the food security and ag teams as well. Of course, we can't forget the knock-on effects that this will have there. In 2010, you mentioned that drought, the devastating flooding of 2010. I was leading the office, was called the Office of Food for Peace at that time. It was the humanitarian office leading emergency food assistance. And in 2010, it was one of the first times that the Office of Food for Peace used cash-based food assistance at scale in Pakistan. And I was on a number of panels at that time talking about the innovation of that response on the relief side. And I have to say that I am just so much happier to be talking now about a solution set that will reduce the need for humanitarian aid year on year. So I just really want to congratulate the government of Pakistan, GCF, Coca-Cola, and our team on the ground in Pakistan for all coming together around this partnership. It is a centerpiece of USAID's collaboration with the government of Pakistan. It contributes directly to the NDC vision of the government, as well as the ambitious kind of vision behind AID's water portfolio, climate portfolio, and food security strategies. So the one thing I'm most excited about, I think it has to be the paradigm shift. I mean, going back to what I was saying about the humanitarian, right? It is just, I was going to say a quadruple win, but it's probably even more than that if you start thinking about the carbon sequestration, carbon emission offsets, the food security, the livelihoods and income production, just the improvement to the environment, the actual benefits of biodiversity that will come with this are all things that I think are fantastic. I think that you know, there's something on the order of a $1 trillion financing gap to reach our water security SDG goals by 2030. And there is no way that a development donor is going to hit that, or GCF alone is going to hit that, or WWF, or private sector. So this is really, I guess, maybe I should say that might be the most exciting thing, is just the partnership that is going to be what it takes to deliver these climate solutions globally. So it is exciting for Pakistan, but it's also what it represents, I think, for so many other countries and for the kind of partnerships that that we can have together. I was smiling when you said GCF was considered slow, complicated. I was like, that could be AID easily. So we did kind of work beyond our normal parameters to do the fastest ever GDA. You took extraordinary measures, WWF took extraordinary measures, and that is just, I think, a signature approach that we need to apply everywhere. So yeah, just a few reflections. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that makes this project and the responsibility on our shoulders kind of very heavy to meet all the expectations. So I believe that Dr. Faisal Hashmi, who's the Global Affairs Director from Coca-Cola, is online. Dr. Faisal, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, Hamad.
Okay, thank you very much. So you've been hearing that, you know, a couple of times, like the panelist also, my colleague Carter also mentioned, that this particular grant to WWF is one of the largest single commitment, you know, that the Coca-Cola Foundation has made in its history. So what motivated you? Why ReCharge Pakistan? You know, just share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Hamad. I think you were the first who motivated us, so it was really great that we are working with you. So we are highly aware that Pakistan is facing climate challenges. Either it is air pollution, variation in the temperatures, or threats of floods to communities around the industry world. We wanted to address these challenges in a holistic manner, actually. The Coca-Cola Foundation has basically supported communities through 1.5 billion in the last 40 years to manage the challenges world has faced so far. This partnership of $5 million from foundation as part of coalition, basically with the WWF, with the Green Climate Fund, USAID, and most importantly, the government of Pakistan. So that was an investment. We felt it will be a true investment, and it will be having very positive chances of success. So that was the reason that Coca-Cola Foundation has invested in this program. And I'm really actually lucky to share that we are having uh, a person like Sayyid Asif Haider Shah in Pakistan, the Secretary for the Climate Change, Mrs. Kamal Bukhari from USAID, and you, Hamad Naki. So, as one team, we are very confident that we will be delivering this very.
I think you muted yourself.
Oops, sorry. Sorry. So, can you hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, great. I'm extremely sorry. So thank you very much, Ahmad, for giving this opportunity. So I think we are highly aware that Pakistan is facing climate challenges. Either it is air pollution, variation in the temperatures, or threat of floods to communities around the river Indus. So we wanted to address these challenges in a holistic manner. The Coca-Cola Foundation has supported communities through $1.5 billion in last 40 years to basically address various challenges in the world regarding the climate. So this partnership, why we did this partnership of $5 million, the basic reason was that as part of this coalition, the GCF, USAID, WWF, and most importantly, the government of Pakistan. So we were having a trust that this investment will not go into a vain, but it will be having a high chance of success. So the Coca-Cola Foundation decided to invest in this program. So we are very lucky that we are having Sayyid Asif Haider Shah as Secretary of Climate Change, you Hamad Naki, and Mrs. Kamal Bukhari. So as one team, we strongly believe that we would be delivering, and we are having Sadia from Coca-Cola Foundation, which is like who is very supportive all the time for any climate related initiative in Pakistan. So we believe that we as one team will definitely be delivering this challenge as a big success.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Faisal, for your remarks. Um, so, Bopan, I'll again come back to you. You just mentioned that the real challenge starts when, the implementation will start. So, I would like to know, in your opinion, the better promising practices or tips of success from other similar GCF funded projects which you feel will be useful for the Recharge Pakistan team to follow? Or obviously we'll keep on bothering you, don't worry, but just like your quick thoughts on that.
Thanks again. I think it depends on how you lay out your inception phase. So we had a good concept, fit with feasibility, SMF. We come up with a full-scale proposal. And then now it's the implementation. And then you need to come up with a detail, your methodology, that how you're going to do this, your exact team, which is quite important, that who will be actually implementing in the field, and how you actually define your timeline. So that is quite critical. We would always request that spend some good amount of time to packaging your inception, because that's actually lay out your foundation, that how you're going to actually run the project. Look at your team, find out, go back to your risk assessment again, what you did in the project full proposal scale. The things has been changed, scenario has been changed, condition has been changed. Go back again your risk assessment, find out what additional, maybe not the physical risk, but also the transitional risk has been changed, and what could be the new mitigation measures. Flag it in the beginning. so that actually it comes to our portfolio management teams, so they start knowing those kind of things, and we can actually support you time to time. And as maybe there is a reporting mechanism for every 6 months onward, and you're already managing project in Bhutan, in South America, so I think you are have a very experienced team how to manage GCF project. And in together with the government, please have a solid plan in place, which is achievable. Don't make super expectation, neither below expectation, realistic plan. We often actually try to put together so many things in the inception, try to promise so much, it doesn't work in that way. And in a large scale project, a project manager is very important and play a very critical role. And it's not a small scale project. So you have to find those kind of project manager who has experience to running such kind of project. Otherwise, project always go wrong. We had several incident where the team leader was not the right person, and the project actually makes critical challenges. Plus, you also need to think about, it's a nature-based solution, we all agree, but it doesn't mean that actually there is no technicality. There is a huge technical aspect. And as we always say, because being an engineer and hydrologist, nature-based solution is very good, but it's not always applicable for everywhere. So we need to look at the fit for purpose. You cannot try to solve everything with nature-based solution. And that's why this proper expert engineering solution is quite important. I was part of those, engineering, Army Corps engineering, we come up with the guidelines for nature-based solution for flood management, and that has provided a lot of innovative methodology. And there are a lot of experts actually exist in the market. So use them to guide you, or even if you have those kind of team within the WWF, utilize their expertise to align with the implementation plan. That would be our main request.
Thank you very much. I think great advices. Okay, yeah, we'll finish in time. That's for sure. And you rightly mentioned that inception phase is the critical phase, and these documents which were prepared maybe 5 years ago, the risk assessments or, it's very important to revisit them, to refresh them. And I think that's the main purpose. We have already, and the team leader, critically important. So we are also, targeting that we find a very good team leader, because that's how the project will literally kick off. So, okay, Dina, you mentioned about nature-based solutions. Bopon also mentioned that along with nature-based solutions, engineering solutions, and even technological interventions to support nature-based solutions are important. So ReCharge Pakistan primarily is a NBS project. So, but in your opinion, and within the USAID, how important the team feels are the nature-based solutions as part of your work?
Yeah. I think I talked about the enthusiasm of all of the different sectors or technical teams who see them as contributing to their specific kind of sector or domain. So it is a really cross-cutting priority. The president has issued a call to action called Prepare, where the United States has committed to helping 500 million people around the world adapt to a changing climate. Nature-based solutions feature centrally in the Prepare call to action, and also in the climate strategy. In the climate strategy, we commit to conserve, restore, or manage 100 million hectares of land by 2030. So it is a really central feature. It is not just important in, I would say, more stable areas or more where it's easy to work, but we're, for example, launching a multi-year investment in Somalia after the massive droughts of Somalia to repair the water canals and do an ecosystem approach that FAO estimates in a season will save something on the order of $37 million in humanitarian response. So even the humanitarians are seeing it as a central, that investment is made from a resilience humanitarian reduction of humanitarian aid perspective. It was done with emergency supplemental money, which gives you an idea of kind of how wide-ranging I think the interests are in nature-based solutions. So maybe that just gives you a little flavor.
No. So thank you very much. Dr. Faisal, are you there?
Yes, Hamad.
Okay. So the role of private sector is very important because for many businesses, this is not just the humanitarian assistance or CSR, or this is also such disasters, such risks are also a business risk. So we talked about nature-based solution. So I would like to know that how does the Coca-Cola Foundation intends to scale up, the uptake of nature-based solutions for climate-resilient infrastructure?
Yeah, thank you, Hamad. So this is not a small feat. It would definitely be having some challenges, but we believe that firstly, catalytic capital, such as the 78 million ReCharge Pakistan project, will catalyze transformational change and will get private sector involved. This project will be the largest investment to date at the national level for an ecosystem-based approach to flood and water resources. So we believe that this basically the first part, the catalytic capital approach will work. Second, 90% of the agri production in Pakistan is supported by the Indus Basin. We see a need to provide grant towards nature-based solutions to improve river health and demonstrate the long-term viability. Once successful, we believe it will have widespread commercial adoption, and definitely the commercial people, they will definitely invest further in this program.
Okay, so thank you very much. Let me, in my opening remarks, I mentioned about Pakistan as a country which is in the front line of climate crisis. Like every year, we see heat waves, we see droughts, we see forest fires, and then we see a weird monsoon pattern. The areas which used to get a lot of rain, they are just dry, and the areas which never received rain, they're getting a lot of rain. A professional is sitting, on the front row, and he's made a model portal where his model demonstrates, everything. The precipitation patterns, the drought patterns, the forecasting and everything. And you pick any scenario, one sees that the situation is not getting better. The situation, so to address those challenges, I think not, only the government department, WWF as the largest environmental organization, or maybe one donor, or, I think the challenge demands a collective action, a collective response. ReCharge Pakistan is an excellent example of that partnership. Great support from the government, the provincial government departments, the relevant ministries. And then when it was needed, support from a bilateral donor, American people through, the support from the USAID. Obviously, they are here. They manage a fund which is primarily, meant to support countries like Pakistan. But then, the Coca-Cola Foundation, the private partners. So bilateral government aid agency, private sector, international fund, and one of the largest environmental group, joining hands to, address the challenge. So, you are absolutely right. The challenge, starts now. I, on behalf of my team, tell you very frankly, we are fully charged to start the ReCharge Pakistan project. We need your continuous support. We need your guidance. We need your advice because for us, let me be very honest, this is a big project and this is a very important project. So please, continue to support us because I would like to ensure that this becomes a role model for other countries. Thank you very much for all your support and thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much. So, can I have can I have a group photo, please? With the panelists and, yeah. Go, please. No.